Welcome to Baltic Landlords, an international broadcast about real estate development, property management, and income sustainability. I am your host, Deivids and my guest today is Deivids Barons, founder of AVER Brokerage, the fastest growing real estate agency in Baltic states. David, welcome to Baltic Landlords.
Yes, hello, David.
Let's start with real estate development. Before we get into the building stage, explain to me the hidden part of the iceberg. What is the process I must go through before the actual building of the house? Take a private house in suburbs, for example. If I bought the land and have put aside 250,000 euros to build it, what is the next step?
Yeah, congratulations on finding the land because it gets harder and harder every year, especially now when it's a big demand for land for development. Uh, Obviously, the next stage, if you have chosen the land and like saw all the possibilities what you can do on it with the municipality, then you find the architect you fancy and start to plan and make the design of the house and work with the local municipality to get approved of this project and yeah, then it's quite easy step-by-step process. You find the land, you find an architect, you uh, make the design you like, approve with the municipality, and you can start the building.
Are there any specially required documents that you need to give to the municipality, or is it just future?
There are many documents. Usually they depends on house or the project you are planning to build. They ask for specific documents such as constructors like estimates of uh, what's the weight going to be on some specific wall and such on. And for each project it depends. Yeah, for some they might ask one documents, for other documents, and but most part of the documents are at the finishing. Yeah, when you have to give the house in let it in exploitation so you can use it. Yeah, then the real paperwork starts.
Okay, let's take a step back and look at the land once again.
Mm-hmm.
What is the designation of a plot of land on which houses can be built? And is it possible to change, for example, the designation of a land plot, which is a forest land, to a building area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, houses can be built on specific building areas, which are like municipality decides each period they are planning development of the municipality, which plots are going to be used for residential, commercial, mixed, or recreational zones. And in all of the zones which are mixed or residential, you can build a house. For each this zone, there are specific rules you have to take in mind, and your house should be inside those rules. And of course there is a process in which you can create this local plan to change some specific area if you think there is a better way how to use that plot, and municipality agrees with you and neighbors agree with you.
Okay.
Yes, so there is a possibility that you can change these zones if the municipality and neighbors will agree with you. um, yeah, and the same goes with the forest. Of course, it's possible to deforest some the forest land and to build there again if the municipality is agreeing with you and um, a responsible forest structure is agreeing that this forest can be deforested and it doesn't impact the forest's environment, like animals and some biological structures in the forest. Yeah, if it doesn't impact it importantly, then sometimes it's possible to deforest and build very close to forest or in the forest, even residential or some mixed-use properties.
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you have a story of your own experience in such cases? With this?
Yeah, I'm currently involved in such a project where we are developing, like, it's like small project, 1 hectare of forest land. We are dividing it in smaller land plots and planning to. Actually, we are already selling them. 3 of the plots we have already found buyers, and they are waiting for the documental process to finish, where we are dividing the plots and making this deforestation. Yeah.
Okay, and if I have a plot on 10 hectares of land, is there a limit to how many pieces I can cut it, or I can easily make like 100 properties out of it and then sell them piece by piece?
Well, if you have 10 hectares, probably you will be available to divide it in even maybe 100 pieces, but it depends on each municipality's zone. For example, in one municipality, you will be available to divide it in, for example, 400, 600 square meters each plot, which is quite small, but it's possible. For example, in Riga, you can divide in like 500, 600 meter plots, but in some municipalities, they require that you divide it not less than like 2000 square meters or 1200 square meters. So it depends on what's the minimum requirement from municipality and specific zone, and after that you can just divide the area, divide by the possible minimal requirements, and of course you have to take in the roads and the necessary infrastructure for the future houses. If you take that in account, then yeah, you can easily calculate how much, how many like these plots and how large they're going to be in calculations. Yeah, you can calculate it.
Okay, you mentioned that there are some municipalities where it is possible to even cut the pieces into 400 or 500 square meter bits of land. What is the percentage of that 400 square meter land plot that can be used for the actual building side of the house?
It's called the. It's usually each municipality decides on the percentage of land plot you can use for building or construction, and it depends. For example, in this case I mentioned, where I'm deforesting the land and going to and selling to people who want to build residential houses, you can they will be possible to build on 12% from the total area of the land plot. So for them it will be 12%. For other cases it can be up to 30 or even unlimited amount. Yes, in some cases it's not even limited. Yeah. You just have to take in account other aspects, such as other land plots and buildings on them, how far are the windows from the your planned building house, and you just have to take many things in count, not just like how many percent are available for you for building the house on land plot. But usually it's somewhere around 10-12% up to like 30%. Yeah, it's like I would say 20-30% is like average usage of a land plot.
Okay, so theoretically
for residential house.
Yeah, so theoretically there can be land plots which can be used to the maximum capacity, like 100%. Because on the streets of Valdrigetan, for example, there are many buildings where under them is just a land of the same size as the building.
Yeah, you know, the old town or center, it's a very specific and exclusive district, and for them applies different rules. Yeah, so you have to take these specific rules or measurements in account. Yeah, and you can, for example, the difference is that on center or old town you can build this perimetrical uh, type of buildings, which means you can build on the land plots border, yeah, which you usually on other residential plots you can't do that. You have to build taking account some like 4 or even more meters from the border, yeah. So and then taking account other buildings, and but center is different, with different rules, and you can build on the border, you can build next to other houses, and it's a different story.
Okay, and are there any restrictions on how many floors I can build underground or above it?
Yeah, of course, that's the same with how many percent you can build on the plot. The same applies for the floors. Yeah, there is it's called the intensity and the maximum available floors. So yeah, for some land plots you can build, for example, such as close to in Riga, close to Spice and this district, you can build higher buildings, usually 6 floors or even more. I have seen some plots in measure parks where it's available 24 floor buildings. Yeah, it's possible sometimes, but very often developers decide not to use the maximum capacity because of the construction costs, but and the demand in our market. But yeah, there are restrictions, and you always should, before planning any construction or development, should take in account how many floors you can make, because it makes a huge difference in land's value if you can build only, for example, 3 floors or 5 floors. Yeah, then the calculations change dramatically.
Yeah, obviously, the one on which you can build 5 floors is much more expensive, right?
It should be, yeah, more valuable, yeah, because you can build more property and more sellable area.
Yeah, and what about suburban areas? Are there any land plots where it is available to build 24 stories or even more, or are there these limitations much shorter in that spectrum?
Usually, for each municipality, there is this like main architect or towns or cities planner who is kind of deciding how the city should look like in next 20-30 years, and they usually try to find a solution to existing problems, and in the way they choose which zones and how many floors are available to build on these plots by solving some like problems existing right now. And for example, as Riga as an example is that currently city like planners, they try to like give an impulse to developers to build these 3 floor multi-apartment buildings close to borders, yeah, not to make too many like apartments in one district, because there's a shortage of parking, and they try to solve the parking issue, which currently, like in these Soviet time building areas where there's many apartments, but not a lot of space where to put cars, and that's why they're currently trying to make these to incentivize developers to build these 3 floor residential buildings where there are parking for everybody, and of course the private houses to try to move out of the city, because the city should be more for like active involved people, and outside of the city is more for like recreational and stuff, yeah. But I haven't seen, in suburbs I haven't seen these 24 floor buildings, and I guess we will never see them probably because always the city planners, they try to uh, make the possible next developments that they fit in the current area. That, for example, there are many like private houses, and you shouldn't build like big tower in between them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was just
and the opposite. Yeah, you shouldn't
yeah.
build a small private house in between two large buildings. It's just
Yeah, makes sense.
weird.
Makes sense. I was just thinking from the perspective if potentially in future there's somebody who wants to build a new city and choose some area in the map of the Baltic states and try to develop something new. Like, is it possible for him to do something like that, or are there too many limitations in place to let him pursue his vision?
Yeah, for people who want to develop a new city from ground, they should probably consider China. Going to China, I have seen there they just build cities out of nothing, or even Russia. They just build these cities and then wait for people to uh, to grow the population. Maybe at some time the cities will be useful.
No.
Yeah, but in the Baltics, I don't see that happening because of our population growth is negative, and even if some crazy investor decided, okay, I will spend all my money on building a new city and call it my name, I think it's not impossible. Yeah, I think it's not impossible, but. I think it could be the goal could be reached in working with some kind of existing municipality which is very open to attracting investments and making these zones available for this like new developer who wants to build his own like quartal or city, something like this. Making the zonings and approvings of construction suitable for his plans. Yeah, it's like communication. What's the benefit of building such city, and then if this I don't know city sees a value in building some new buildings, attracting some people who would like to live there and paying taxes in this current city. I think some city would or town would be lucky to have such investor, but I don't see it happening. Happening in even Baltics, I guess, because of the population. It's more urbanization and yeah, living in the city, building new cities. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to sell a residential project of 150 apartments, and if you build many such, then yeah, there's not so many buyers in the market that can absorb that amount.
Yeah, I once saw this one city of more than 600 dreamlike castles in Turkey,
Yeah.
where one billionaire showed many billions in that project, and it's now a complete ghost town. There are these literally castles that are semi-finished and nobody lives there, and it's away from everything, so there's like only one or two routes to get there, and it's just completely empty.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's like tourist attraction now, and that's it. You can use them for. That's the point that you should build something that there is demand for. Yeah, if you build just because you like building or you have an idea you want to realize, then you should know that you're building it for yourself. Yeah.
yeah.
And potentially you can end up with the Turkey situation.
Yeah. And what about those buildings which are, for example, 3 or 5 stories tall, and at some point of time, someone decides that he wants to develop it further above, for example, 1 or 2 stories above? Is it possible everywhere, or are there restrictions? For example, if I build a 3-story building and 10 years down the line I decide I want to build like 5 more stories on top of it, is it possible?
Yeah, it's possible if this local zoning allows for this like 6 floor development because you the local zoning allows like the maximum capacity, but you are not required to build the maximum. So you can decide not to build the less, and if you choose after some years, yeah, you can continue the development to the maximum capacity. But usually that's not the most efficient way how to use the land plot. Yeah, because if you have built already existing home, then you have to remove the roof and continue building and continue all the utility appliances to the next floors, and I don't think it's the best scenario. But I have seen many projects in Riga where they build 1 floor, 2 floors on top of the building. Usually they somehow manage to get the permit with no cost or really small cost, like in cooperation with the existing building owner, and they somehow cooperate, and the owner allows to build 2 more floors or 1 more floor on top of the existing building, and in return the builder, I don't know, does some staircase renovation or makes parking or something, or elevators or something like this. And I have seen such projects. Yeah, not many of them are very financially successful, because it's quite costly to do it, and quite hard to get the permits. But it's not impossible, and if you go in such projects with consideration and have planned all the processes, then yeah, you can do that.
So it's definitely more cheaper to just build the story height that you potentially want
yeah,
right away.
of course. It's the same if you want to finish a task. You can finish it like do it in 5 minutes, or you can do it 2 minutes, then I don't know, go for a drink, then do it another 2 minutes, and go for a walk another 2 minutes. It's just the switching from task to task takes time,
Yeah.
and it's the same in construction. Yeah, you have to switch from existing building to the developing another floor or another permits, another. You need to find the builders and architects. It just takes time. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. 1,100 euros per square meter is about the average building cost in Latvian market. What is included in these costs, and what else should I take into consideration when building my own house?
Mm, in the 1100, it's of course the labor, construction materials. Big part is taxes. Yeah, we have VAT. Yeah, the taxes for the employment, for the contractors. Yeah, basically it's like three parts. It's labor, it's construction materials, and taxes.
Okay. And what else is there from your own experience if I want to build a house? Say I take into consideration these 1,100 euros per square meter. What else is there that I should be aware of when calculating my cost of building a house?
Usually, it's making the project, the architect costs. Most of the time, people don't evaluate like landscaping. Yeah, landscaping can be costly, especially if you want a really fancy garden. Um, yeah, what else? Sometimes, yeah, the furniture, the kitchen appliances, they all of them are yeah, take some proportion of the total cost, and if people are planning to build a house, I would recommend to meet a designer or architect who has experience in like full cycle with the building, with interior landscaping, and make this called there's this design plan. I would say it's called like design plan, where he helps you to understand that, for example, in this stage you need this amount of money, and these are the materials you need to have, and at what stage, how much money do you need, what kind of materials and what kind of appliance, and at what moment. This is a really useful thing, especially it helps you to understand what's important in what stage. For example, maybe it's not important to uh, make the landscaping now. You could invest maybe more money in construction materials if you don't have the unlimited budget, and make the house better, and then you can see down the road that for example after 6 months you can like save money for the landscaping, or you can save money for some interior design things, and I would recommend to meet some full cycle architect or designer who can make such a plan for you.
Okay. The house is built. I have spent whole of my budget, the 250,000 euros to build it, but decide I want to move to Brazil for some reason. For how much can I sell a 200 square meter, 2-story family house on a 2,000 square meter land plot? Say it's in the region of Jelgava, so around 50 kilometers from Riga, and not in the most demanded area of Latvia.
I have to see your house to evaluate exactly. I have seen very crazy type of houses, which maybe only you like such design, like all black house or all red or something like this. But the average new house. I know that evaluators now evaluate house around 100, like 1,200, 1,300 euros per square meter. So it's usually the construction costs and acquiring land and projects and such on usually end up around the same. The costs are usually as the same as the value. I would say like this, and only the very efficient builders or very specific type of house projects are possible to build with profit.
So not much of a gain if I decide to move out.
Usually not there is no gain. Usually I would say it's even the opposite, that people invest a lot of money in their like residential house where they're planning to live, and they don't consider that they could move in next 5 years, because nobody is thinking like, okay, I will build this house and sell after 5 years. Usually people plan to live there forever, but as we have seen in the reality, most of the people don't live in their house forever. Usually something happens. They get a job, they divorce, they just kids grow up, and the house gets too big, and many reasons they choose to move to and to change to something else. And should consider that if you are building, if you're not like very consistent person, then should consider building something that is like in this medium or average type of house, average price, so you can exit without losses.
Okay. Is there anything I can do to raise the valuation of a house after it's built, or is there only techniques to implement before the house is actually built to raise the valuation?
I would say most of the value raising things are before, because you should take in consideration the planning, how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, are the area is fully usable. If you can use all the square meters in the house, or there are some spare or useless, but you have to pay the builder to build them, but you don't use them, so most of the time the value is in that you find a great location, that you can buy land for a great price, that you can manage to create a project which is high quality without unusable spaces, that it is in the total area is in the range with most of the demand for houses is, and that you manage to actually build it in the budget you have planned or less. And it's usually very hard to do that if you have no experience. And yeah, and after that it's only to just keep the house not too much just keep it in good condition, yeah, to just clean it, paint it if needed. And most of the damage for house is done by water, so you have to just use the house in a way that the water doesn't damage, or you don't damage it, or your kids or dogs don't damage
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Okay, what is the most demanded land plot in current market for houses?
The area, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. The most demanded, the thing is that the minimal, usually in all the municipalities around the Riga, the minimal area you can divide the land is around 1200 square meters. So that's why developers divide them in 12,000 square meters, and that's why they are usually the most bought, because there are a lot of them and people just buy what's available on the market. Yeah, I guess if there would be available lands a little bit bigger, they would choose maybe to buy 1500, maybe up to 2000 square meters. Yeah, but usually developers decide to go for the minimum requirement. Yeah, but I guess something around 1000 to 2000 square meters is the most demanded.
Okay, and is there a specific bedroom count that increases demand for houses, or does it vary between places?
Yeah, it should. The rule, yeah, I would say the rule is minimum you have to have 3 bedrooms. Yeah, because usually house is occupied by mainly by at least 3 or 4 people. So it's couple and kid, or couple or 2 kids, or couple, kid and like spare bedroom. So I would say the minimum is 3. If you have less, it's a value decreasing factor. If you have 4, it's I would say it's a little bit better than 3, but doesn't increase values like importantly. Yeah, if you have 4 or 5 or more, it's specific. Usually it will be a specific type of home. Usually maybe it's like premium luxury, or just very big house, and then it starts to be a niche product. And if you find a niche where is a buyer who is interested in such house and exactly such house, then you can benefit from it. But most of the time you won't. Yeah, most of the time you will benefit. If you have 3 or 4 bedrooms, it's completely enough for a private house.
Okay, if I build houses as a strategy for investments, so I build a house with the thought in mind that I will sell it to somebody, does it help if I model the potential buyer of the house before building it, or what are some techniques to do it in a better way?
Yeah, I guess I think most of the people in 90s have born in 90s have seen this movie where Mel Gibson is working in this marketing agency and trying on himself the lipsticks and all the female products, just to feel how it feels to be a user of these products. And it's the same with I would say any product, and the house is a product. If you're building it, it's the same as you manufacture a lipstick or you build a house. Is the same. You are building it for someone, and the better you know who is that someone, the better house you can build. And if you really well know for who you are building that house, then you can see what's important for him. Yeah, is the big bedrooms important, or the price is more important? Is the interior materials important, or the price is more important? Yeah, or what kind of heating, and yeah, what additional like things they are expecting, yeah, in the house. So you can balance out all of the expectations and possibilities to find the best fit for such a person. And in that way, yeah, you can profit, you can build great product, and if you don't take that in account, then usually you end up like in Turkey.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the role of real estate agents in the selling business of residential business.
Yeah.
Do I need to seek a professional in this regard, or can I do it myself just as successfully if I have built a house and want to sell it?
Yeah, it depends on many factors. You know, one of my friends recently met with one house owner who has no teeth, and he looks very like scary guy. And the house is good, price is good, but somehow he doesn't manage to sell it for a long time. Yeah, I think in his case it's very useful to use agent because he can represent the house, not to scare buyers away, and just to close the deal. Yeah, and there are many factors which you should consider. Yeah, like many high like position people choose real estate agents because they are very focused on their business, their role in the business, and they it's important for them to like focus on their own thing, and not to think about the buyers, their questions, their showings, and to manage them, and legal procedures and so on. Yeah, I think they should consider a real estate agent. If you are like, you know, this there is this type, you know, when I meet them, I usually tell them you should sell your house yourself, you know, because they have available time, they are nice and friendly, they have done the research about the competition, about competitor houses, they are possible to get a decision from person, and they have maybe experience already in the real estate market and so on. Yeah, and they have fun doing it. Yeah, it's important, I guess. Then yeah, why not do it and save on the commission, and yeah, just do it. So it's depends on the person who is doing it. Yeah, I know that many developers who build houses, they choose to work with agents just because they want to focus on building houses. They want to, and that's a very hard job to do. Yeah, the house construction and the process is very hard, and demands a lot of attention, and it's very hard to focus and on two things and at the same time. Yeah, if you are focusing on construction, it's very hard to be focused on the buyer needs and on his questions. Maybe you'll just not be as open or responsive to with the buyer. Yeah, when you have to think about the next material supplies day, or you need to find some workers, or there are some problems you need to solve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For such developers, is it better to hire an in-house real estate agents, or just go to an agency and sign some exclusive contract and let them sell the houses or properties?
Yeah, again, it depends. I would say for large scale property developers, usually it will be the in-house guy, because you can just pay salary and small bonuses, and on the huge amount of sales he is doing, it's a very small percentage from the sales volume that you need to pay to such in-house person. Yeah, of course, it's important to find very motivated and self like sufficient person who likes the job. Yeah, because it could be a big problem if he is just like, you know, happy with the salary and not very active in sales. But usually the large developers go with in-house people, and they like to control the sales process because they have their own systems, brand, and they want to keep their name in a specific way. Yeah, but I would say small or medium developers. I think they should almost always choose the realtors because you don't have that amount of work that you should hire somebody full time to do that. Yeah, plus for the large corporations you have like the marketing department, legal department, the sales guy. You have like all these departments which usually take care of everything. But if you're like building, I don't know, 1 to 50 houses, like private houses, then usually the agency can do it everything for you, and with their competency in the market, you can get better prices, save on marketing costs, and just pay on the result, which is very important for small developers because their cash flow is usually not. Um, well, it's limited. Yeah, it's limited, and it's better to pay when you have cash flow, not like uh, having regular expenses sometimes without incoming cash flow from the sales.
What exactly is the role of real estate agent in the sales process?
Yeah, I would say I was reading like what's the role of the CEO. Yeah, it's like everything, and it's the same with the real estate agent. If you consider the yeah, selling something, then the real estate agent's role is to take responsibility of everything. Yeah, and meaning everything is that the seller gets the highest possible price and money for his property. He gets it done in the time frame he has planned and agreed with agent, and or if it's possible, the fastest possible time, and that he does it in on his conditions which he is interested in, and and for the buyer it's that same, the safety, the transparency of the deal, and yeah, just making that deal happens. Yeah, the result of the agent actually is the deal happens. Yeah, and all the other things is sub factors, like for what price, what time, and what conditions. Yeah, but the most important responsibility is that deal happens, and take responsibility for how it happened.
Okay, how do you see the future of real estate agents? Do you see a growing demand for these professionals, or will it decrease instead?
If you mean like number or count of agents, then I think it's too much already. Even in Riga, in Latvia, there are too many agents and too many people who call themselves agents, and our company's goal is to reduce the number of agents in the market. It's very funny, we are agency, but we want to reduce the number of people in the market by making a lot of processes digitalized, and and making the agents who continue to be on market that they are that they are very competent, they are in really high demand because they are like know the real estate sector very holistically, that they know construction, they know project making, they know city planning, they know all the aspects, they know sales, they know marketing, like they are holistic person who can assist any investor, developer, yeah, people who are interested just in real estate in like in deep way. Yeah, because a lot of people now, they are just doing real estate agents work because they don't have any other work, or not really interested specifically in real estate, just making commissions. And I am really confident that in the future, agents will be less, but they will be very smart. They will be really into real estate, and they will have to have knowledge in technology as well. Yeah, so they will analyze data. They will know how to make digital projects. They will know buyers' demands, and can analyze things, and can manage property development, sales, marketing, and yeah, there will be just these holistic people who can do real estate.
So the competence of real estate agents spans way more than just the sales process and these legal
Yeah,
works.
of course. It's there are some these infographics where there are these parts of the real estate agent, like a psychologist, like constructor, the therapist, yeah, driver, and everything. Yeah, it's everything, and I know people who can. Usually, it used to be like that you have to have a knowledge in some specific industry and very deep knowledge in something. But now the demand for skills is changing so fast that even you are very well know some kind of industry or some skill, it can change in like 5 years. It can change, so you need just to be very adaptable and go with the markets. What's market demanding, yeah, and need to adapt, and really high quality agents, they are available to do that. They do that, and they adapt, and they will continue to adapt, and not a lot of people can do that. That's why the ones who will adapt and improve and raise their knowledge standard will continue to work, and they will get all of the benefit of being in such position, because if there are less agents, less professionals, but the people who want to use real estate services remain the same, then all of the top people will just increase their benefit for increasing their knowledge standards, and technologies they use and know, and so on.
And what about the demand from sellers' perspective, the property sellers? Do you think the trust level will grow in that aspect, or will it remain flat as it is right now? Because more and more sellers, or maybe more and less sellers, are very skeptical about the role of real estate agent in the sales process, because they somehow think that they can do it on their own and they don't need help from these professionals.
I will start from the global, and globally, I think overall the trust between people are increasing, and will increase in world, because the more technology brings more and more transparency, that I can know what you are doing and when and how, and you can know everything about me, and this transparency between people and government and so on will just be bigger and bigger, and that's why I think the trust will grow, and technology allows us to not to trust but to verify everything. Like, for example, you can let people in your apartment by providing some ID check with photo, taking a photo and scanning if it's a real person and so on, and if he does some damage, then you can take money from his credit card and so on. I think these systems already are developing, and are already in some countries are in use, and it will just take over the world. So I think that there won't be a question about do sellers trust real estate agents or not. They'll just trust a system that approves or verifies people who they work with, and I'm very I believe that just there won't be a need for real estate agents in very simple deals, where you have an apartment, you want to sell it to your neighbor. I think there won't be needed assistance in that, because we will be available to do it via our phones. But in the way I mean, real estate agents will be demanded are these really complex real estates, yeah, where you need to analyze like you have a big land plot or big property. You need to analyze what's the best use for it, and how can you build such property that you use it in the best possible way, and there are so many ways how you can use it. You can build residential, you can build mixed, you can build commercial, you can build different kind of areas in each floor, and different colors, and how all these things affect people who are coming to this property and to the sales price, to the rent price. There's so many aspects, so much information that you have to consider, and I believe that these high-end real estate agents will be available to evaluate such things and provide for sellers a service, and for buyers information and package with information to consider when starting a development or selling a property. Yeah.
Tell me more about AVER Brokerage. What does it specialize in, and why should people choose AVER Brokerage to realize their properties?
Our brokerage, our like unique selling point is that we focus only on sellers' benefit and sellers' need. So all of our sales process, all of our systems in the company are designed to get the most benefit for the sellers. And that's why many people choose to work with us. That's why they choose to sign exclusive contracts, pay us commissions, because they 100% can trust us that we are working in their interest, and our goal is to sell their property for the maximum price, and in the time frame which is comfortable for the seller. And we are working to be the movers of digitalization of some of aspects of the real estate transactions and evaluation of your next residence. Currently we have 3 offices. One is in Riga, 2 are in Liepāja and Daugavpils. We are 23 agents currently and growing fast. Each year we have grown 200-300%, and I believe we'll continue doing that. And currently we are franchising and planning to sell first franchises already this year. We are very open to talk with sellers who are in the market or planning to put the property on market, just to see if they believe that by following our process they can get the most money out of their property. And if we can show them that it's possible, then we are very happy to work with them.
Okay. Are there any new projects that you are working on that you would like to share?
We have many projects. We are making this digital product for people who want to find apartments. Adify. This is one of our projects I'm very proud of. We have already big corporations really interested in data we are providing, and a lot of buyers are already using, and the volume is growing, and we are working for new design. We are working for new real estate portal which very functional and very good design and very well thought out things that usually buyers who want to browse portals are looking for. I'm involved in some real estate projects currently in Āgenskalns and Teika and Jūrmalā, by planning to build or renovate or divide land plots, and I would be happy to be involved in many more projects, especially with the residential part, residential projects.
Where can people find you?
I guess in the BALTIC LANDLORDS, somehow through the BALTIC LANDLORDS, but I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn. You can, or just find on AVER.lv my email, phone number. It's available, so you can just call me.
Okay, I appreciate this conversation, David. Thank you for sharing your time with me and Baltic Landlords. Thank you.
Okay, that